Hello friends, Intuitive Rene here, bringing you your weekly pick a card. I can't say that because you're not picking cards today. What I have over here are three charms that you get to choose from, and we are doing tarot tile charm readings today. Gosh, I don't even know what to call it. So we're going to have some fun. I thought, you know what, we've had a couple of serious weeks of getting serious detailed messages, and I thought this week let's lighten it up a little bit. Let's have some fun. So I have got my charm board out, and I have got three charms over here that you can use to help you choose the reading that is relevant and appropriate. And then I have my tarot tiles in my singing bowl. Actually, that's what this is. It's a singing bowl that I use to keep my tarot tiles in, because at least then I can stir them up and shake them up and pick cards at random. So if this is the first time that you're doing one of these readings with me, let me explain to you how it works. So I have the charms on the side. So I've tried to keep a musical theme today, and that's because the first charm I took at random from my pile was this one, which is like a little keyboard, musical keyboard as such. And then I thought, okay, well, let's do a musical theme. I then chose the guitar, the electric guitar, which I thought was really cute. And then I didn't have a third musical instrument. I searched and searched. I thought I did, but I only had the guitar and the keyboard, so I have improvised. Because haven't we all done that? Haven't we all taken our hairdryer and pretended it's a microphone and sang into our hairdryer? So that's going to be our microphone charm for today. We really are just being a little bit silly. What I have here in the bowl, these are what I call my tarot tiles. So it is basically a full set of tarot that I have cast in resin. So they are sort of, you know, halfway in there in resin. And it is just a full tarot set. But what's nice about it being in resin is that I can be quite rough with it and shake them up. So instead of having to shuffle and draw cards, we literally just grab a handful and drop. Then my charm board that I have, beautiful charm board created by a lady here in Cape Town, absolutely stunning. So wherever the tiles land, so if they land in physical, we read it in relation to physical. So when I use this charm board, basically that means we don't actually have a theme or a question or anything like that. Basically what it means is that we just go with the flow. All right, so there's no predetermined theme or category or anything today. We're just going to allow the charms and allow the tiles, I should say, allow the tiles on the charm board to give us whatever it is that you need. So looking at our music, looking at our musical charms that we have, we've got the keyboard, we've got the hairdryer mic, and we have got the electric guitar. All you have to do is decide which of those three you're drawn to, which of these three seems to be calling you in and seems to be drawing you in, and then you'll know that that is the reading that is relevant and appropriate to you. At the time of recording this intro, I have not yet recorded the reading, so I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know what any of them are going to be about. I hope that they're going to be fabulous. I hope that they're going to make sense to you, and I hope that they're going to help you on your journey of life. If they do, if you enjoy this video, if you enjoy this content, please remember to give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel. This channel is all about motivation in a fun, interesting, and exciting way, helping you be the best version of yourself that you can be. Right, so I'm going to, oh, wait, before I stop, once you know, forgetting like the most important part, once you know which of the readings you're going for, there are chapters in the little time bar down here. You will see right now there'll be the word intro sort of down here somewhere. If you click on intro, you will see it'll open up all the chapters, and there will be a chapter for keyboard, a chapter for hairdryer mic, and a chapter for electric guitar. And then you can jump straight to the reading of your choice. And as I said, if you did enjoy this, please remember to give the video a thumbs up. As always, I love comments from you. So do comment below and let me know how you resonated with your reading. And you're welcome to put a tip in the tip jar by clicking the thanks button below as well, if you are so inclined. No expectation and pressure, but if you are so inclined, much appreciated for those that have done in the past already. Right, let's get into it. We're going to start with keyboard. Welcome, welcome, welcome to those of you who chose the keyboard as the reading that you were drawn to. So let's get straight into your reading. I am going to shuffle and distribute the tarot tiles onto the board. For those of you listening on earphones or listening or are sensitive to sound, it can be a bit noisy. So you might want to mute the sound if you don't like the sound of it. I know there are some of you that really do enjoy the sound of the shuffling, a little bit of ASMR for you. So if you're keen on that, keep listening. But if you're not, feel free to mute the sound. And once I have dropped the tiles on the board, you can come back. Right, let's shuffle and see what is the message for all of you today. Okay, let's have a look and see what we have. All right, so we've got a bit of glare. I do apologize for the bit of glare. And we have got two that have turned face down. I am going to turn them over because we do want to see what they have to say. Oh, Temperance. I knew that one was going to come up. I knew it. I just knew it. We have another one that's slightly off the board, so I'm just bringing it forward. Otherwise, you can see all the charms that have landed, all the tiles that have landed. I'm going to start with this one. So in the block of spirit, what we have in the block of spirit, we have got, if I can find the camera, the Ten of Swords. Now, the Ten of Swords is not a very good looking card, is it? I mean, it's quite awful, actually. So here you are lying down on the ground. You've got these 10 swords that have stabbed you in the back, and you're sort of lying there. You've given up hope, okay? You've given up completely. You're just lying there saying, you know what, I'm just waiting for death to arrive. We have the dark, stormy clouds, but they are lifting. A new day is dawning. Brightness is coming. And basically what that is saying to you is spirit acknowledging and recognizing how you're feeling about life in general at the moment. You're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. You're feeling a little bit like everything's just all a little bit too much. And you're feeling like you just want to throw in the towel and give up. And you know what? We understand that. We completely understand and resonate with it. The message that comes through around that for you is that just when you give up, just when you throw in the towel, just when you say, I'm done, I'm over, time out, just when you do all of that, that's when the new day dawns. And with the new day comes hope, comes inspiration, comes new opportunities, comes a new way of living your life and taking yourself out of your current situation. But it requires surrender first. So to me, this is spirit saying to you, it's time for you to surrender. Surrender to your circumstance, to surrender to whatever you're going through. Try not limit, restrict, control, and modify. Just surrender to it. Just go with the flow, surrender to it, and let whatever comes come. Okay, let whatever happens happen for you, because it's if you're trying to navigate, control, and manage, what you're doing is you're actually putting too much pressure on yourself and you're stabbing yourself in the back. So when you surrender to the circumstance, when you surrender to the situation, that's when the situation gets an opportunity to improve, to change, and to almost better itself. Okay, next card I'm going to is this one down here in the block of unknown. And in the block of unknown, we have got the King of Swords. Now, the King of Swords, he's about being in control of his mind. So immediately it makes sense that in the spirit block, we've got this overwhelm, and in the unknown block, you've got this control of the mind, because, you know, the King of Swords, he's very strong. He's very strong-witted. He's got a lot of knowledge, a lot of understanding. He's the planner. He's the strategist. He's the one who understands all the risk analysis and all of those kind of things. But what he isn't is emotional. Because you're emotionally overwhelmed. This is spirit saying you're trying too hard to control the situation. You're trying too hard to understand, comprehend, and control and manage the situation instead of just surrendering to the flow. Now, here in the Southern Hemisphere, here in South Africa, we are in winter, going into our winter season. And it's interesting that we've got the summer and the winter blocks covered. In other words, we've got tiles in them. In our autumn and spring, we don't have. So I'm coming down to the winter one next. And the winter card that the card that's landed in the winter block is the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands is the card of being defensive. It's the card of, again, defending yourself against perceived threats or perceived challenges. Now, in the darker periods, because winter is when we have more night and less day, it's in the darker periods, the quieter periods, the periods of rest, of rejuvenation. This is spirit again. The confirmation that's coming through is that you're taking on too much. You're trying to manage, to handle, to navigate, to control too much. And you need to stop. You need to stop being so overly defensive. Stop defending your position. And again, back to the surrender. Back to the surrender. So we've still got 3 tiles over there that I'm going to look at, but I do want to come to this one over here because it's quality of life and recreational. And the charm, and it was trying to run off the board, it was trying to fall away, and it's the card of temperance. So if we look at the temperance card, he's got 1 foot on the ground and he's got 1 foot in the water, and he's got 2 cups in his hand, this huge big angel, and trying to pour water, almost like halving the water, equaling it out between the 2 cups, between the 2 jugs. This side of him, you can see how overgrown it is and full of flowers. This side here looks like it's a very long, straight, narrow path to the sunrise. Temperance is the card of balance. Temperance is the card that says you've got to try and keep 1 foot on steady ground at all times. You need to be very mindful of all that you're doing. So again, it's coming through to this, I just want to put it back like it was. It's coming back to this situation here of just feeling overwhelmed and feeling like you actually don't have control over what you're doing. But on a recreation and a quality of life, that's where you need the balance. That's where you need to stay logical, to stay pure, to stay reasonable, if I can use that word, not in work and in other areas, but in your personal recreation and quality of life. That's where you need the yin yang balance. That's where you need the balance to come through, not in other areas, but you're trying to control and navigate all areas of your life. So by family, focus and take caution, because I do think it's equally in all 3 of those blocks. We have got the fabulous 9 of Pentacles. 9 of Pentacles is the card of lavish. Let me get the right words, lavish. This is the card that says to you that you have everything your heart desires and so much more, that there is so much abundance, that there is so much opportunity, and that there is so much of it, there is extra, okay? Let's call that the card of extra. So you have extra of everything. Going back to the balance card, I think it's telling you, even though you have so much more time with your family, don't see it as a burden. Don't see it as an overwhelm. Rather see it as, let's have some simple fun. We don't need to have money. We don't need to have all the fancy stuff in order to have fun. We need to caution against spending extra. We need to focus on our income. We need to focus on our expenses and our income, because this is the card of lavish, having the money to be lavish. But caution and focus around that is telling you to not be spending as much, because we need balance. We need balance. By the emotional block, we have one that is sort of, again, trying to escape and fall off. Let's have a look and see what that one is. And it is the 3 of Wands. And the 3 of Wands is the card of, you know what you need to do. Now it's just waiting for the right time. It's just like waiting for that right moment to execute. So on an emotional level, I think what it's saying to you is that everything that I'm saying to you today is making sense. You know exactly what this relates to. You know exactly what this is about. You know what you need to do. You know how you need to do it. You know about the surrender. But there's this part of you that's like, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I want to. So there's this part of you that is holding back. And our final tarot tile that we have in the top corner by Summer, we have got the 8 of Cups, which is the card of walking away, which is the card of exploring your options, exploring your alternate options. And it's the card of saying, I'm not accepting what I have right in front of me. There's something missing in my life, and I want to go searching and looking to see if I can find what it is. And it's what we need to shed light on, because that's why it's in the summer block. The summer block is what we need to shed light on. So you need to shed light on what is not working in your life at the moment. Why are you feeling so overwhelmed? Why are you finding it so difficult to keep yourself balanced with your family, with your income, with your expenditure? Why are you so worried that you can't handle things? Why are you being so defensive? What are you overthinking? Let's shed light on that, because as soon as you do, suddenly the surrender becomes so much easier. The surrender becomes so much more attainable, and so much more, yeah, attainable is like the only word, friends, the only word. And when you recognize what it is, and when you find that balance and find it, then everything becomes easier, everything becomes simpler, everything becomes better. So, for those of you who chose the keyboard, I know I was hoping this would be a fun and light-hearted reading, but it's actually got quite serious quite quickly. But I think you know exactly what it means. I think you know exactly in what aspect of your life this is referring to, and I hope you know what you need to do going forward. Sending you lots of love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care, friends. Welcome to those of you who are I'm going to call you our bathroom singers. The bathroom singers, the people who like to take the microphone, hairdryer, and sing to your heart's content when nobody is watching, when nobody is around, and you think that you've got free reign and nobody's going to judge you. You're the ones who sing at the top of your voice as loud as you can. And I can imagine the acoustics in the bathroom. It must be absolutely fabulous. So, welcome to you for your reading here today. I have got the tiles here in front of us. I have got the board here. I'm going to give them a shuffle, and then I'm going to drop the tiles onto the board. While I've got my hand in shuffling, it can be quite loud. So if you don't enjoy the sound, or if you are sensitive to sound, please do mute the volume now. And once you've seen that I've dropped all the tiles, you can come back. But I know there are some of you that do enjoy the sound of the tiles shuffling. So if that is you, a little bit of loud ASMR, I will give them a shuffle and I will lay out the cards. And once we've got the tiles on the table, on the board, we will start with the reading. So let's give it a shuffle and let's see what comes through for all of you who have chosen the hairdryer mic today. Right, cards are dropped. Let's see what we have. Okay, so we've got two that are face down. We have got one that has escaped the board completely. Otherwise, everybody else managed to stay on the board, which is great. I'm going to turn them over and try and keep them in their space, because even though they fell face down, we're still going to take them. Normally I didn't, but today, for whatever reason, I decided we're going to. Okay, I'm going to talk about him first. He went flying, all right? He decided, I want to be here, but I don't want to be here. And look what it is. It is the Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords is the card of rest. It's the card of taking time out when time out is needed. It's the card of not rushing into anything unless you absolutely have to. The Four of Swords says to you, be ready to go at a moment's notice, but don't go. Okay, wait until the timing is absolutely perfect. We need to understand that all things will happen in the appropriate time. And I think that the fact that he didn't know where he wanted to be, but wanted to be in the reading, could maybe be an indication that we bring it into everything that we have covered here. Okay, I'm going to start with him at the top. I say start with him, but I've already done one. Okay, I'm going to move to him next. He's covering the life vision, he's covering life roles, and he is covering change direction. So let's have a look and see the card that we have over there. We have got the Five of Cups, and the Five of Cups, you can see how sad he's looking. You can just see by his body language that he's feeling very sad and feeling very very heavy around these three cups across the bottom here, because they have spilt their contents. And he's feeling very sad and feeling almost, if I can use the word, sorry for himself, because those three are now empty, because they have dropped or missed or messed their contents. So they don't have any fabulous liquid in them anymore, whatever the fabulous liquid may be. What he doesn't know, though, or what he doesn't see, are the two behind him that are standing full. The there's also a little bridge in the background, which could take him to the town to get more of whatever it is that he has missed. So it's almost like crying over spilt milk. Okay, that is sort of the kind of message that comes through with that particular card. And I think this is telling you that you are facing disappointment in life at the moment, life in general, because we've got life roles and life vision, and we've got the change of direction. It's telling you that you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. You're feeling a little bit like everything's a bit disappointing. Nothing's quite working out for you. And you're focusing on every little thing that goes wrong instead of celebrating and acknowledging the little victories and the little successes that you do have. Remember, this is Spirit saying to you, this is not a time for too much action. This is not a time for rushing. And this is a time of pause. This is a time of reflection. This is a time of resting. So maybe that's also why you're feeling so disappointed, because you feel like you're not progressing. You feel like you're not achieving anything. You feel like you're not getting anywhere. But you need to understand, and I'm just going to move him out the way slightly. I want you to see the change direction. Because maybe what's actually going on here is Spirit saying to you that there is a change taking place, but you almost have to wait at the robot for the light to turn green so that you can make the corner, that you can make the change. And in the meantime, there's nothing much you can do except just to sit and wait. So things are changing. There is movement. There is progress, even though it doesn't seem like it. So just sit still. Wait for the robot to change color, wait for the traffic light to turn green so that you can make the corner and turn and make the changes that are needed or that you are looking for in life. I'm going to come down to this charm down the bottom here, this tarot tile. It's equally in the block of social, financial, and of no limits. And what we have is the Page of Wands. Page of Wands is such an interesting one. So he is wearing his best clothing. He's even got his little red feather in his hat. He is feeling fabulous. He is feeling in control. He's feeling strong. He's feeling fabulous. And he knows what he's capable of. So the word that I want to use with him is he's very confident, almost bordering on arrogant, okay? Complete opposite of that person over there who's feeling very sad and despondent. Financially and socially, you're actually doing pretty okay. And maybe this is what you need to focus on. This is not the disappointment, but the success. The two cups behind him is the fact that actually you're doing okay, even though it's maybe not perfect, even though you may not have a huge amount of abundance and extra money and spending money and all the rest of it. But actually, the truth of the matter is socially, financially, you're actually doing okay. And you can allow yourself to actually feel good about it. All right, so stand tall, be confident, feel good, and even if you want to be a little bit flashy, that's okay too. You're allowed to, because you mustn't limit yourself. Don't limit and restrict your thinking, okay? Because that's what that card is. It's about the thinking about the limits and the restrictions, the disappointments. Don't allow yourself, don't limit and restrict yourself into thinking that you have limits and restrictions when actually things are not as bad. Because you know what happens? Sometimes we have a little bit of money spare, but we've convinced ourselves we have none. So we actually then limit ourselves and we don't splurge and we don't buy ourselves a treat when actually we could afford to buy ourselves a treat. But we're so used to the lack, we're so used to the disappointment, we're so used to not having, that we don't allow ourselves to have when the opportunity is there. So financially and socially, I do think you're doing okay. It's not fabulous, it's not perfect, but it's certainly not anywhere near as bad as you have been thinking. Okay, I am now going to move to this cluster that we have over here, and it's quite an interesting cluster. We've got Take Caution and we've got Focus On, and the card that we've got in both of those, or that's overlapped those two, is the Four of Wands. And Four of Wands is the card of commitment. It's the card of celebrating commitment. It's the card of coming together with the people who are important and significant in your life to celebrate an accomplishment, an achievement. But it's also about celebrating something that has longevity, okay? So, for example, a wedding. And this is not only about weddings, but a wedding is a commitment for a long time, supposed to be forever. But it's interesting that this has come through in the Take Caution and the Focus On, because I think it's saying this is not a time for you to be making any commitments, signing any contracts, making any kind of, committing yourself to anything important or significant. This is Take Caution, Focus On. In other words, if you if you do have to make any commitments, if you do have to sign any contracts, if you do have to do anything like that, really, really pay attention to it. Focus on it on a strong way. Make sure that you understand be that person that says, I want to read and understand the entire contract. Okay? Be that person. I know we don't like being that person. I know we all get like, oh, I'm sure it's just standard, let me sign. This is Spirit saying, no, 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 no. Do not just accept the T's and C's. Do not accept terms and conditions. Make sure that you read and fully understand the repercussions or the whatever it is completely before you commit your signature to anything. The next one we have over here, it's a little bit in the physical block, but not so much. It's mostly in the emotional, and it is also in the focus on. So what we have here is the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles is my favorite of the pages because he's a very practical, very logical, very systematic kind of fella. He's not trying to be over the top. He's not trying to do more than. He's being very logical and very practical in his approach in what it is that he's doing. He knows his limits. He knows his capabilities. He knows what he can do and what he can't do, and he's not putting additional pressure on himself. And again, I think this is the fact that it's connected to that card as well. Whatever the commitments are happening around you at the moment, whatever the contracts or the commitments or the things that you're signing yourself up for, just be practical around your emotions, be practical around your physical. Do not put additional pressure on yourself at this stage. Do not put additional expectations on yourself at this stage. Okay. And the reason for that, we have this next card, which is very slightly in the focus on block, very slightly in the release block, but mostly in the mind block. And the tarot tile that we have here is the Six of Swords. So this is you over here. You have climbed into this boat, all right? And you're saying, take me away, take me anywhere. Anywhere is better than here. So it's almost like you are mentally, because it's in the block of the mind, mentally you are, because of the disappointment, because of the hardship, it's like mentally you are cutting off. Okay. And maybe remember, this is Spirit saying this is not a time for action. This is not a time when you should be rushing into anything or jumping into anything, even though mentally you've already done so. Mentally, you've already disconnected and said, I'm not doing this anymore. Mentally, you've already stopped the commitment, stopped the contract. You're not doing it. Emotionally, you're being very practical, but mentally, you're already moved. You've already gone. But Spirit is saying this is not the time for doing that. Don't focus on the disappointment. The disappointment, life is full of disappointment. Not everything will work out the way it needs to. But, you're actually doing okay. It's not that bad. So try to not run. Try not escape, okay? Try not completely disconnect. Try and stay actively involved, actively connected until such time as you are where you need to be. But you will know when the time is right. You will know when the time is right, and that would be when you jump into action. In the meantime, read the contracts, take in all the information, be practical around your emotions, and try not disconnect mentally from whatever it is that you are patiently waiting for in your life at the moment. So friends, I hope this reading helps you. I hope it gives you whatever you need to just navigate the way forward. Thank you for being here with me. With love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care. Welcome to my rockers, my heavy metal rockers. Welcome. You chose the electric guitar as the charm that has the reading for you. So let's get into it. Let's rock it out and let's see what message comes through for you today. I have got the tarot tiles here in the bowl in front of me. I am going to shuffle them and I'm going to drop them onto the board to get the cards and the positions and to see what message comes through for you. While I'm shuffling these tarot tiles, it can be a bit noisy, and if you are sensitive to sound or if you're listening on earbuds and you don't particularly enjoy the sound, you might want to mute the sound or turn the volume down until you see that I have dropped the tiles onto the board, and then you can bring yourself back. But I know there are some of you that do enjoy the sound of the tiles shuffling. So for those of you who do, you may listen in, and a little bit of ASMR, it's a little bit loud ASMR for you as we shuffle our tarot tiles. So let's get into it. Let's drop the tiles so that we can see what is the reading, the message that comes through for all of you who chose the pink electric guitar today. There we go. Right, so interesting. Only 3, 1, 2, and 3 turned face up. The rest are all face down. Normally, I don't read the face down, but today, in the previous 2 readings, I did read the face down, so I will do the same for you. But I just want to acknowledge and notice that only 3 turned face up, which also tells you that that's where we need to start, and then we will get into the rest of them. So I'm going to start with this one right here because it's fallen into the block of the mind and into the block of no. So something we should not be doing. And the tile that we have is the 4 of Cups. And the 4 of Cups is such an interesting card because it's the card of boredom. It's the card of like, oh, just another cup, just another trophy, you know, just another accomplishment, just another day, just another. You know, when you win your first race, it is such a beautiful feeling, and it you know, you just want more. It's like the adrenaline and, you know, the euphoria and all of that. But when you win a race every single day, eventually it loses its fanciness, doesn't it? Okay. And I think this is Spirit saying to you, you need to make sure that that's not happening to you. You need to make sure that you're not getting bored in your situation. And I am going to tell you that it's in your mind. All right. So with your thinking, with the way your expectations and your thinking with everything that you're doing, do not allow yourself to get bored. If you're noticing that you're starting to get bored, you need to shake your world up. Okay, you need to make some changes. You need to do whatever it is that you need to do so that boredom doesn't set in, because I think boredom will be the rot, and we don't want rotten. We don't want anything to rot in our lives at the moment. All right, down the bottom here, actually, before I do that one, I'm going to do this one over here. And I'll tell you why, because it's perfectly in the circle of winter. And here for us in the Southern Hemisphere, we are going into our winter season. And the winter season is generally when our days are shorter, our nights are longer. It's more about the darkness. It's more about the introspection. It's more about the hibernating and sort of just waiting for the sunshine. And the card that landed there for you is the card of Temperance. So Temperance, I love Temperance. It's one of my, I know I say about all of the cards, but one of my favorites. She's standing with a foot on the rocks, and she's standing with a foot in the ground, I mean, in the water. She's also, I mean, a beautiful winged angel, but she's got these 2 cups in front of her, and she's pouring water. She's sort of sharing water out between the 2 cups. Basically what she's doing is she's recognizing that she needs to have a solid footing on everything that she's doing. And then she's also saying, right, I need to find some balance. So during this winter period, I think this is Spirit saying, don't rush into anything. Okay, even though we're saying we want to make sure that boredom doesn't set in, but we also need to make sure that we have the right elements of give and take, the right elements of excitement and boredom, or excitement and inaction, activity and inaction. We want to make sure that we're not rushing into anything, but we need to make sure that we are keeping ourselves balanced. I'm also going to add with this equal amounts of sunlight. Even though it's our winter period where the days are shorter, doesn't mean that you don't spend time outdoors. It doesn't mean that you don't need your vitamin D. But we need to make sure that we're not bored and frustrated with everything that's going on in our lives. All right, the last one that was face up is in the block of financial. Okay, so it was lying sort of there, not really in the social block, but in the block of financial. And I think this is the kicker, because what we have here is card 0 in the tarot, and it is the card of the Fool. And the Fool is the card that says to you, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fabulous as long as you just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep moving in whichever way you're moving. Keep doing, don't change your course of action. Don't change who and what you are. Just continue on the journey that you're on. And if you do that, and if you just trust the process, everything's going to work out as it needs to. So financially, maybe this is the boredom and this is the balance. So it's Spirit saying to you, don't change. Whatever you're doing, however you're progressing in your life, you are making progress. You are making progress. So keep on with that progress. Don't let the process or progress stop. Don't think, okay, well, this isn't working and let me move. Don't allow boredom to make you change directions, because that would be a mistake at this point. Okay, we're going to have a look at this other card that is now face down on the financial block. It is a little bit in the cultural block. I'm not including it in those two because it's not significant enough. But financial and cultural, let's see what we have with that one that was face up. Oh, you see the Justice card, and the Justice card is the card of doing the right thing at the right time for the right reasons. The Justice card is the card that says to you, you must never give up. You must understand that doing the right thing is what gets you the right results. Deviating from your course and taking shortcuts and doing things that are maybe not appropriate will get you bad results, will get you into trouble. So that is just confirmation to stay on your path. Don't try and take shortcuts. Don't try and speed anything up. Doesn't matter how bored you're getting, okay? Do not do that, because you will suffer the consequences if you had to do that. All right, I'm now going to come to this one over here. I'm not covering the don't dwell because it's not enough in that one, but it is in the receive block, it is in the recreation block, and it is in the quality of life block. So let's see what we've got in those categories. We have got the Emperor. The Emperor is about control and dominance. The Emperor is about masculinity. It's about having the courage and the conviction to do the things that you need to do. It's about recognizing who you are and being comfortable with who you are and not feeling like you are inadequate, not feeling like you are less of an individual or less than an anybody. So recreationally, being open to receive, and quality of life, this is Spirit saying stand in your power. Recognize who you are, be comfortable with who you are, be okay with who you are, because who you are is actually pretty fabulous. Pretty fabulous. In the receive and the yes block is where we're going to next. So this is the yes block, this is the receive block. So let's see, what should you have your hand open to receive right now? Oh, love that. We've got the Star card. Star card is the card of hope. It's the card of renewal. Notice how we're pouring water again, much like we had with our Temperance card down the bottom here. So it is the card of renewal. It's the card of healing. It's the card of hope. But it's the card that says to you, everything's going to be okay. Focus on the star in the sky. Find the big star in the sky. Focus on that star in the sky, and everything is going to be okay. So I am going to tell you, if anybody offers you a gift, if anybody offers you assistance, if anybody offers you advice or guidance, just say yes, please, and thank you. If somebody says, can I help? Just say yes, please, and thank you. Put your hand out, be open to receive, and practice gratitude with that, because whatever your situation is, whatever you're bored of at the moment, whatever this is, this boredom that we have over here, I do think somebody's going to help you. But if you're not brave enough and confident enough to stand up in a social setting and be open to receive and know who you are, you may miss this opportunity. But there's definitely an opportunity coming that you need to receive. So it's about the taking, not so much the giving. Okay, then in this block at the back here, we have got life roles. And let's see the tile that we have for life roles. We have got the Page of Pentacles. He is practical. He is level-headed. He is simple, actually. I don't want to say he's a simpleton, because I don't think he is a simpleton, but the way that he reacts and responds to life, the way that he acknowledges everything is very, very simple. And I think this is Spirit saying to you, acknowledge the simple life that you lead. And almost, if I can say, don't let the simple life be the boredom, but let the simple life be actually something that you treasure, something that you respect, and something that you honor, because the simple, practical, day-to-day existence that you have is exactly what you need right now. Let's have a look and see where you are spiritually. And again, we're going to take a little bit of caution, but not really, because it's not too much there. It is mostly into spirituality. So let's have a look. Spirituality, Where are you at? And if I can hold the card the right way around, we've got the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man is the card that says to you sometimes a different perspective on everything and anything is exactly what is needed. Sometimes we need to sacrifice our own state of mind in order to see the different perspective on life, on the situations. Don't take everything at face value. So on a spiritual level, again, because of the boredom, I keep coming back to this boredom. Sometimes when we are so bored, we tend to cause trouble. We tend to poke the bear. We tend to make mistakes. We tend to do things that we regret at a later stage. And this whole thing, I mean, we've got one card left in the block of what to focus on. But this whole board definitely seems to be, or if I can call it a reminder to you to not jump into anything, to not do anything that you may regret at a later stage, to be very mindful of your actions, your activities, your who, when, whys, and whats, and to not jump into anything and make any mistakes. So on a spiritual level, this is Spirit saying, let's look at things from a different perspective. Let's sacrifice one thing in order to gain a new perspective. And by doing so, we are going to find whatever it is that we are seeking. But by being stubborn and staying on the path we are, we may be skipping that. We may be missing that. Our final tile here is the focus on, what we need to focus on. So let's have a look and see, what does Spirit want us to focus on right here? God, they all keep coming upside down. We've got the Ace of Cups. We need to focus on our relationships with other people. We need to focus on our emotional connections with other people, because our cup runneth over with emotion, with love. But if we're not aware, if we're not focusing on our connections with other people, we're missing a lot. We're missing a lot. So let's sum it up. Let's have a look at all of this. We started off by saying how we're a little bit bored and we're a little bit disinterested. Spirit is saying, even though it's the winter period, the darker days, the shorter days, the longer nights, and the darkness, we must use this time to bring balance into our lives and not allow ourselves to lose sight of life completely. We need to trust the journey that we're on, and we need to know that anything that we do incorrectly now, we will be held accountable for it. We need to be confident in who we are. We need to believe that everything's going to work out. We need to remain practical and logical in the ways that we look at everything in our life. Turn ourselves around a bit to see things from a different perspective and focus on the people that matter most in our lives. And if you can do that, friends, you will find the joy and the happiness that you were looking for in life. I hope that helps. I hope you enjoyed your reading. I hope it gave you whatever it is that you needed in your life right now. With love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care, friends.